Now we're live. All right. I'm just going to come in with it. We're just going to start, I guess. There we go. We're okay. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Blame Your Brother. We believe we are live on Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Maybe we are, maybe we're not. This is our first attempt at doing this on our own. So we are live. All right, guys, welcome to the live stream. We got the green screen behind us. I'm David.
I'm John.
That's John. We're Blame Your Brother. It's a new intro this week, but yes, we're back to streaming the show live. We'll see if it's. That's me. My bad. I said it was going to be a bit of a dumpster fire at the beginning, but it'll pick up. We got a bunch of great things to talk about. But I will introduce myself as I already have. I am David, a.k.a. D-Brew, Voice of the People, Mr. 40%, Glenn Jackson, Spiritual Midget. I'm sitting with this gentleman to my left. It's John.
Hey everybody, Tico here. Yippee-ki-yay, yay. Mr. Groupon, Mr. PTI, the Madman.
That's right. So yes, all right. So we're here. It's going to calm down from here. We are excited to talk to you tonight. It's going to be a fun show. And we've got a lot of fun things. We're doing our top duos tonight, inspired by that we're now a duo. So I've got a good list. Hope you got a good list.
I got a good list. I honestly think that we're not going to have any crossovers.
Oh, no, that's impossible. It's impossible. We'll have to have, crossover. It's kind of a Mount Rushmore. So if it's crossover, I don't get it, you know. Like they said, we're going to turn the volume up a little bit here. All right, there we go. All right, hopefully that helps a little bit. Okay, so let us know in the chat if it's not loud enough. We got it up pretty loud right now. So yes, you had a pretty wacky week, but you know, we obviously last week, we'll just jump into it. We said goodbye to Lee on last week's episode. And I will just let you know that the numbers were up this week. A lot of people were obviously interested in hearing about Lee. And I put a call out on, you know, the socials. And I said, hey, you know, who wants to say anything about Lee? So I'll just read a couple of comments and then we'll say our bit about it and we'll move on. So it said from Lisa Mays, who watched frequently on Facebook, I listened and I'm saddened, but I've been through something similar. It's still not fixed, but after 7 years, it has gotten a bit better. I have never given up or stopped trying. I'm hoping for the same with you. Lee, you are my favorite on the show. It won't be the same without you. I'm just continuing to read. It won't be the same without you. I hope you and your brother will remember life is short and forgive each other and have a great relationship. And from your fans, please, please, please consider coming back to the show. So that was from Lisa Mays. Then we had one from Tasha and Alice of Cooter and Mink's podcast. Said their favorite memory was actually meeting him and doing a show with you guys because they came and did a live show with us. Alice says, yeah, it was a lot of fun. And then other people were just it was a lot of shock, like, oh man, Lee's not on the show anymore, which, I mean, it's kind of crazy because that lets you know people don't really listen. They like follow us, which is cool, you know, but they're not actually listening to the podcast as they drop. But I mean, it was a lot of numbers on the show, I will say that. So it was good. I mean, I think people were interested to see what happened. And like I said, it's a new era, so we're going to move forward. And if Lee wants to come back on the show at some point, we're
open arms.
We will have him, and it'd be great. So, but yes, thank everybody in the chat right now. We got a good chat room going. We have like 12 people. It seems to be kind of hanging there, which is good. We got Robin, we got Glenda, we got Jeffrey. So we got some people in there. Thank you guys for tuning in and checking this out. All right. Well, let's. This week for you was a bit of a strange one, I would say.
Had interesting.
Yes.
Interesting week.
So you text me. Okay, so we recorded Thursday. And I left about like 10 o'clock, 10 after, you know, whatever. I get home, watching TV. I think my daughter got up, so I was up a little bit later. I get a text from you that said pretty much what, John?
I mean, I can pull it up probably. I can't even remember. I can't remember what I did that night.
It is a crazy story. I would just say this: somebody at this table had a gun pulled on them, and you will get to hear the details of that story, which was wild. I mean, anytime you get a text from somebody at 12:30, it's generally not great, and it's not great news for you. But yeah, so your text, I mean, if you don't have it, it pretty much said I just got robbed. I just had a gun.
Oh yeah. I said, well, I just got a gun pulled on me.
Yeah. And so I was like, what? Obviously I knew you were at work, but go ahead, man. Jump into the story. Tell us how that night went
All
and
right.
all that crazy stuff.
Probably about 20 minutes before midnight last week, I was at work, and we kind of heightened up security ever since May for obvious reasons.
Right, COVID.
And so 24/7 we keep the front doors. I work at a hotel, for those who don't know. We've been keeping the front doors locked, and we only open it for people who are either checking in or booking a room, or
Right.
specifically that kind of thing. And so someone came to the door, and between the face mask and the intercom system that we're using to talk to people, it was kind of hard to understand him. And he was asking about a room, and we had quite a few rooms open, and wanting to be good employee. We're like, want to get people in those rooms. And so I went ahead and opened the door for him. He came to the front desk, and he's like, how much is it for a night? And I told him. And
Now, did you think anything was up at this point?
No, not really.
Describe this dude.
He was a black guy, about 5'11". He's wearing a all-star black Converse jacket,
Okay.
beanie hat. He had a face mask on, one of the the disposable ones.
Right.
And so, didn't really think much of it. And
How old is it? Like, younger guy?
I'd probably say between 23 and 27.
Okay.
So
he's
not very old.
And everything seems cool. He's asking you, what?
Yeah.
You got rooms and all that.
Yeah.
Okay.
He asked me, well, how much would it be, like tax and everything, for 2 nights? And I was like, so I got out the calculator and I started figuring it up. And he kind of swooped around the desk, and he pulled the gun out. He had the gun like just below his waist level.
Okay.
I guess for some reason he was trying to keep it off the camera or something. I don't know.
Could be.
But he said, "Give me all your money," and I told him we weren't taking any money because of COVID. We weren't handling money because of COVID.
Now, how close is this dude to you at this point?
As close as you are to me.
So he's like 2 feet from you, pretty much 3 feet maybe.
Yeah.
And he's got the gun. Waist
Well, he was
level.
closer, and I backed away, kind of,
Okay. Gotcha.
put my hands where he could see him.
So he's showing you the gun at his waist, and he said, "Give me your cash." And then so you're like, "Okay, so continue."
And so I told him we weren't. He said, "You're lying to me," and I said, "No, I'm not." And I went to one drawer, and I pulled on it. It was locked. I was like, "Look, it's locked." I went to the other drawer, and we used to operate out of 2 cash registers, but we haven't been taking a lot of cash, so we just put all our money in one cash register. And I opened that drawer, and it was just an empty till with nothing in it.
Okay.
And at that point, he believed me. And he's like, "Well, what about safe?" And I said, "I don't have access to the safe." He's like, "You're lying." I was like, "Dude, I promise, I don't have access to the safe." Which that part was true. And then he kind of like, he looked a little frustrated, and then he just turned around, walked out the door. Immediately, once he hit the door, with one hand I called 911, second hand I reached for the walkie-talkie. Security happened to be doing rounds right at that moment in time.
Okay.
And he was in the back of the property. I said, "Hey, you need to get to the front of the property and see if you can write down everything you can about the vehicle that's about to pull out." But he was all the way in the back. He didn't get up there fast enough to get any information. But
Well, let's talk about emotionally, like what is going on.
oh my gosh, it was like somebody else was like pulling my strings. It didn't feel like words were coming out, but it didn't feel like I was controlling them.
Yeah.
And it was just like, I was like on autopilot. It's like watching somebody else was driving my body, pretty much.
That's wild, man. So he leaves. You go tell the guy. Is there a moment after that where you're just like, "Holy shit, man!" Like,
oh, I'm just like I'm so like on edge.
Yeah.
And just like, and like I wanted to tell somebody, so I texted you.
Yeah.
And I also texted my wife. And I figured you were still up because it happened so quickly after.
Oh yeah.
I hadn't even been at work for an hour.
Right.
And so and I texted my wife to see if she was awake, and I figured she would be. And so,
Wow.
But I got done with. I got off the phone with the cops, and then I called my boss.
And what does he say? I mean, what is the protocol for that?
She's like, oh my God, are you okay? And I said, yeah, I'm fine.
She said, my neck. Oh, I should have fell out on the floor.
Ow, hurt. She asked if she wanted me to, if I wanted her to come in and for me to go home.
What'd you say? No, right?
I said no, because I mean, at that point, what am I gonna go home and sleep?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you were probably wired, right?
Yeah, and I called down for a little bit until somebody asked me what happened, and when I'm trying to recall everything to tell people what happened, it was almost like I was doing it all over again.
Yeah.
So I'd kind of get nervous again.
Yeah.
But I mean, I got praise from my, the managers at my job for being able to come up with. I mean, he walked away with nothing.
That's true.
And I mean, one of my bosses said, if it were me, I'd have been like, do you need help me carrying these computers up to your car?
Well, that's what I said, because like I don't know if I texted that or I thought it. I think I was like, bro, I didn't give it up. I'm like, what else do you want, brother? Like, I got some coffee over here, like, because I don't know, like, I just think I don't really care. I've taken a hard dive on capitalism in the last like few years, and I think it's incredible that these companies, I mean, secretly, they were obviously happy you didn't give them the money. I think they were even happier they didn't lose the money, more so than you didn't give him the money.
Yeah.
I mean, but then you send me the story. This guy had done this to like 5 other places, 6?
4 other places,
okay.
And they're looking into a 6th place.
Wow.
I mean, a 5th place. Well, a 6th place including ours. There was 2 other hotels, a gas station, and like a check cashing place.
Wow.
And on the news report, next to ours it says attempted.
Yeah.
And then next to the gas station it says attempted. But it
Yeah.
doesn't say attempted for the other one. So apparently,
you got the money from those.
They were.
I mean, I don't know what's going on at the check cashing place, but yeah. I'm sure they gave up the cash.
I mean, I don't know why they were open that late. That's my biggest thing. I was like, what are they doing even open at almost midnight?
I think they're open 24/7 because we have one in Spring Hill, and it's always crazy to me like that they stay open like all the time. Like, dude, there's no one ever there, and I'm like, what is happening with this stuff? Like
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, a lot of those places, I mean, they're shady anyway, but
yeah, that's true. So, as you continued on through the night, were you like, and so here we got this, I think we got the story pulled up on the screen here. 5 businesses robbed by same suspect in less than 12 hours. So yeah, that's your dude right there, man. Now, which one of these is yours on the screen?
None of them.
Oh, none. Okay, and this is your guy. So
I'll be honest with you. If he'd had the gun, like in that first picture.
Yeah. Right there.
Yeah. If he'd had the gun up, like eye level or face level with me,
yeah,
I might have reacted differently. The fact that it wasn't in my face.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
I think I was able to kind of do what I did. But I think if it was like in my face, I think the sense of urgency would have been a little bit more.
Oh, for sure, yeah. I mean,
so I'm not trying to come off as some kind of a badass or anything.
Hold on a minute. No,
I mean,
wait a minute, John.
What?
Shall we talk about your Facebook post?
I posted that like that at the moment. I did feel like a badass, but I was thinking about it later on, and I was like, you know what?
Right.
But in all honestly disclosed, and I mean I use humor quite a bit, obviously, to kind of cool situations down, and I don't know if I do that for other people or for me most of the time, but in these cases they were mostly for me.
Yeah, for sure. I understand. I mean, were you worried like he might come back? Like, was there a concern? I mean, like
I've throughout up until like maybe a couple of days ago, I kept having ideas about him coming back in the hotel.
Now, I mean, I don't know, man. I just look at the security making rounds. So so you think this guy was like casing the place? Then you think he was watching this? Like, how involved was it? Because that is some weird timing, don't you think? That when the security guard left, like,
I mean, he had to go right around the building when he pulled up.
That's crazy. Like, I mean, it's either coincidence or he was sitting there, like, watching.
Yeah.
You know, but if he knew that, then he must have been like watching.
I don't think he was casing or watching it for very long because of the rapid fire he hit.
Okay.
Because he hit another place like right after us.
Oh, okay.
And so
you messed up his night, John. Do you want to apologize to this man for not giving him that money? You can look right there at the
No.
So yeah, that's wild, man. I've worked at Blockbuster. It was robbed one night, but the story, if you've ever listened, you know who Kenny is. Kenny was a friend of ours that we shared an apartment with, and he was the manager at Blockbuster, or like, I mean, whatever. Not necessarily.
Not the GM.
No, not the GM. But I went there to visit him. I had stopped working there, and I went back to visit him, and we were in the back room. Me and him were just cutting up, or it was like a man. So if you walk into Blockbuster or any video store, there's a front counter area, and at the very back of the store, there's like the manager's room, you know, where they count the money down and take the break. Managers sit back there and do nothing. I was a night manager. We went back there to do nothing. Okay. Anyway, so me and Kenny were back there talking, and about 2 minutes, somebody they call and they're like, Kenny, I just got robbed. So we were like sitting in the back room, and there's a monitor that shows the front counter, which
worst manager ever.
we were not even paying attention to it, and this poor girl was like shook up bad, and he did get money, and I was like, dude, I'm out of here, because he called the police. I was like, I'm not giving these statements just because I don't have anything to give a statement to, and I don't want to be here for like another hour, you know, waiting. So that's the closest I've ever come, you know, to getting robbed. Yeah. But you've actually, and your sister worked at the gas station.
She got robbed twice, and it was in a matter of like a month.
That's crazy.
Like within a month's time.
You know, I guess it's always going to happen, right? I mean, there's going to be people without that figure they can go to a business, stick them up. I mean, I guess he did. I mean, if you look at a positive, I guess he didn't shoot anyone. So you wonder what would have happened if you did have money and you didn't give up the money. I wonder if it's just a numbers game. Like, I'm going to walk in here. If they give it to me, I'm good. If not, I'm out. I don't know.
I mean, I think for the most part, that's what a lot of people, I don't think they really intend. I don't think they go into a place wanting to hurt anybody.
Right. Yeah. Well, there you go. So the next couple of nights, next couple of days, still in your head.
Yeah, I mean, I just kept having I had trouble sleeping. Every time I'd lay down, I'd get visions of like, not necessarily him, but you know, the situation happening again. Yeah. What can I do? And in every scenario, I wanted harm to happen to this person.
That's human.
And and I wanted to be the cause of it. You know, I wanted to inflict damage.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess those feelings kind of stopped. I guess around Tuesday.
That's good.
And so,
I mean, I'm sure that guy. You know, I listened to like his podcast where it's these dudes in jail, right? And it's called Ear Hustle, and I mean, it's a pretty good podcast. It basically, it's a woman that goes into San Quentin prison, and she talks to the inmates there and gets their stories, and you learn about how they, you know, get food and how they do this and how, you know, all this different stuff. Anyways, so generally, you find that most of these guys are, I mean, they have remorse. You can tell. I mean, you can just you can tell from the story. I mean, they may be lying, but you would believe that people have remorse. With the latest episode, this guy had no remorse. He took a woman. He encountered a woman on a walking trail, punched her in the face, raped her, robbed her, and got caught immediately. And they're talking to this guy, and his story's just kind of not adding up. He said, you know, he grew up, and white people were mean to him, and so he figured he was going to hurt white people. And the interviewers are like, you know, after they're done, they're like, this don't add up. Something's not right here. So they went and tracked down the victim's sister, because the victim had passed away of like cancer or something. And they got the full court testimony. And so in the courtroom, after he was found guilty, the woman said, I'm not here. I hope whatever is in your heart gets healed. I'm here hoping you get better. I'm like, wow, that's like, you know, most people wouldn't be able to say that. They'd be like, I want you locked away forever. You know, this is a violent, serious crime, you know. And he said, and he kind of said that on the podcast, but what he said that he didn't say in real life is when he walked out, he looked at it, he goes, I'll see you in 30 years, as they were leading him out. I'm like, come on, man. Like, you ain't got no remorse if you're saying stuff like that. He's like, oh, I don't really remember saying that. Bro, you remember saying that. Like, you know, this isn't like a conversation you had. Like, me and John used to go to coffee shops all the time. Like, yeah, hey, can you remember a conversation we had 3 years ago? No, I not at all. But if I looked at a victim who I just raped and said, I'll see you in 30 years, I mean, come on, you know. Yeah. So that to be said, I feel that we talked about nice people last week. I feel most people are capable of maybe examining themselves in jail or prison and realizing, oh, I shouldn't have been doing these things. Some people aren't, though. Some people are straight psychopaths, you know, sociopaths, and they don't care, and they never will care. And those are the people, unfortunately, that need to be locked away for, like, ever. You know, I mean, that's the whole point of the system to me. The whole point should be rehabilitate, punish to some degree, but more rehabilitation on how can we fix this person where they don't go out and do this stuff. I don't know this guy's story. I mean, you don't know his story. Probably would the dude get caught? I mean, who knows? I mean, he hasn't been caught yet, and it's been over a week. Now it's been 1 week.
1 week, yeah.
That's not good. You know, with the mask now, it's hard to say, you know, really what does this dude look like completely? You got like half his face, and that's some of the things people have been saying about.
I mean, if he doesn't have any priors and he lays low,
yeah,
he probably won't get caught.
Yeah, he'll walk away. So
yeah,
but
I mean, if he does have priors, there were some of those pictures you could see he was touching stuff.
Oh, okay.
And he didn't have any gloves on.
Oh.
So if he does have priors, then his fingerprints are on file somewhere.
Hmm.
So if they went to the trouble of dusting it all.
Yeah. Huh, we'll see. Well, I mean, you know, I'm glad you made it out, and, you know, unfortunately had to experience that, but now you got a story to tell people. Hey, I got robbed at gunpoint, and I didn't give them any money, so there you go. So, well, that's a crazy story, man. That is, that's an all-timer. Blame your brother.
I mean, that initial podcast post that I made on Facebook was, you know, I always wondered. Now I know.
Yeah.
And, you know, we've always talked about stuff like, what if someone put a gun on you? And
well, somebody did pull a gun on me. And I've told this story, man. I went to go see this girl. It was like a blind date. I met her somehow on the internet or something. I can't remember how I met her. I think it was either internet or, you know, we had pagers back in the day, kids. And people used to page you with the wrong number and you'd call them back. And that was like my game back then. Like these girls, I'd be like whining and dining on. I think it was what it was. So she was out in Murfreesboro. I drove out there. I ended up going to her mother's house first, and like she wasn't there. I'm in the living room. The ex-boyfriend's there, and he's like eyeing me the whole time. I'm like, this is really weird. And the parents like, hey, nice to meet you, and blah blah blah. And I'm like, okay. Oh, she's at her dad's house. I'm like, all right, what's the address? Now, people understand there's no Waze, there's no MapQuest back then. This is literally like, yo, you go here, turn here, go here. This was out in the middle of nowhere, out in the middle of the woods. Like, I mean, this is no man's land. And I'm by myself and I'm driving and I get to the house and I see her sitting on the porch. I'm like, all right. Now I will say I'm an innocent man at this point. I was I think we're very naive. I would say we're very romantic young men. I wasn't even thinking about like anything happening. I was just more like wanting to meet her and seeing if anything happened. So anyway, I wasn't thinking, yo, I'm going to get some tonight or anything. I was really like, yo, anyway, I start walking up. Dad comes out, shotgun, baby. Cocks that thing. He goes, I forget what he basically said. You better get out of here. I went, yes, sir. And I got in the car, and that was it. Now, I think I met her one other time after that. But that necessarily wasn't pulled on me. But hearing the shotgun go, so I ran, and I don't know what I'd done if I got robbed, but there you go. So, well, I mean, you know, it's a life story, John, and came out of it, so there you go.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, well, I think it's time. To get to this list we want to do. Obviously, top duos, all right? Now, we're going to, how are we going to determine who goes first here?
I don't know. Coin, odds are even.
Okay, I'll put up behind my hand. Odds are even. No, me. I got to do it. So you think odd or even? I'll just pull it out.
Then you can just change it. That's
I'm
why
not.
We both got to go.
Okay, that's fine.
See, we both go. One of us calls odds or evens, and we add up the numbers we have. I'm not gonna cheat
for this. Okay, all right. Okay, you calling odd or even? You want me to?
You call.
Odd.
All right. No,
okay, I go first. All right. So when I think of duos, and we'll set the stage, obviously. We think of things that go together. You know, like when you think of one, you think of the other. It's very famous for that thing. So I get to go first. I'm going to obviously go with my first choice because when I think of this duo, to me, obviously, the name comes into mind. But it also was used to describe many other duos after that. And so my first choice is Batman and Robin. So I just think, I mean, when you think of many other people on my list going forward, I wish I had a pen or I could write this stuff down. But when you think of other duos, it's always that's Batman and Robin. Yeah. So I had to put Batman and Robin first on my list. So my first choice on the Mount Rushmore of duos, Batman and Robin. All right. So you're up.
All right.
Now this is all off your head. You don't have a list or anything.
All up in my notebook.
All right. Here we go.
Well, with great heroes, you gotta have great villains.
Okay.
And so I thought Bonnie and Clyde.
Bonnie and Clyde, man, you're going old school here, bro. Okay. Go. Why do you say Bonnie and Clyde?
I mean, when you think of, I knew you were gonna go Batman and Robin.
Oh, of course. I mean, it's an all timer. You got to.
I mean, it's in that dynamic duo. I mean, that's their code.
Yes.
So I mean. And I figured I wanted to do the kind of the antithesis of that, and I thought, okay, what's a bad guy team that's always been a team, always together?
Fair enough.
Most of the time, especially with comic books, I mean, if there are, evil always trumps on they turn on each other eventually.
Right. Yeah, of course, yes.
And there's never just two bad guys. It was always. I mean, you have the Legion of Doom and things in the, Sinister Six and things like that. But there was never just a duo. So I had to go into real life for it. And when you think Bonnie and Clyde, you can't. You're not just going to talk about one of them.
Right.
And so that was my first one.
There we go. Okay, so Bonnie and Clyde. All right. So now,
are we doing Snake or are we going back and forth? I guess it doesn't matter. It's just the two of us.
Right? Yeah. Okay. All right. I thought this over a lot. Now I'm going for big names. All right. And I was thinking the other day, what movie have I seen the most in my life? I thought about it. I was like, I've seen Fight Club a lot. I mean, that's one that comes to my head. But then I thought, oh, you're stupid. The movie you've seen more than anything is Star Wars. Pick any of them, New Hope probably, or Empire. And it comes down to one or two, man. And I juggled it, but I know a lot of people love this duo. I'm not going to list, but when I think of two that stick together in that world of Star Wars, R2-D2, C-3PO. I mean, the first time you meet them, they're on screen together.
Yeah. I honestly thought you were going to go Han and Chewie.
I thought about it. I had to pick one, and I love that one. But I think there's something about C-3PO and R2-D2 that work a little bit better because they're kind of opposites. They're kind of like Han and Chewie, they're good. Like, they go together great, and when they were in the new movie, everyone popped and they went crazy. But guess what? Chewbacca has been in movies without Han Solo. C-3PO has not been in any of the major movies without R2-D2. So I'm going to go with droids. I have no women on my list, by the way. I saw you have Clyde on there, or Bonnie, I have no women on my list. So that's kind of a precursor. If we had the misogyny alert, you could hit it. All right, so that's my number two. Who you got for your number two?
My number two. I'm not sure which pair to go with. I want to make sure that I don't double up on yours. I'm fairly certain I won't though. But I'm gonna go, and I had trouble deciding this next one.
Okay.
You've got your Lewis and your Martin and Lewis. You got your Laurel and Hardy.
Abbott
and Costello.
Okay.
But probably my favorite. It's much more recent and much more inclusive.
Huh.
I had to go with Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder.
Okay, all right, that's pretty good.
Many
That's
movies
good.
together. My favorite of which,
what's your
probably
favorite?
See No Evil, Hear No
That's a
Evil.
classic. It's a great movie.
It's a great movie. But they've been in a few others as well together, and
They work
really well.
They
with each
work
other.
kind of like R2 and C3PO. Really,
Yeah.
truthfully, I mean
That's why I'm kind of going with that one because I mean if you're thinking classic, when you say R2D2 and C3PO, you kind of lean towards Laurel and Hardy just because of their shapes.
right. That's true. Yeah, that's true. I mean,
yeah.
people like that. People like the opposite friends. You know, they like it when one's fat, one's thin, one's tall, one's short. It's funny. You know.
Yeah.
It's kind of an old gag. All right, so we got Pryor and Wilder for you. All right, I'm going to go ahead and take this one before you take it. Anyone that knows me knows I love music. And when I think of a band and their catalog, and every song is these two people. And, you know, I named my middle son. My middle son's middle name is Lennon and McCartney.
Okay.
Lennon and McCartney. I don't know who you got on your list.
You had me worried.
But when you look at every hit by the Beatles, without Harrison and without Ringo, they're all McCartney and Lennon. It's not one, it's not the other. Every Beatles hit is those two guys together. That Lennon was writing most of the hits.
But you know.
So that I had to take them. I mean, I've got some other people that kind of, this is tough. This is a tough Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, I thought you were going to take mine.
Okay, so you
I went for a more pure. I'm not knocking your choice.
Oh, you're going. I know who you want me to say yours. You're saying Simon and Garfunkel.
No.
Oh, really? Okay.
I thought about it seriously, but
more than okay.
How much did Garfunkel really?
I mean, but it's yeah, but I don't know.
I wanted for all of my choices. I wanted as close to equal parties as I could get.
Okay, and who's this?
And so I went with
Hall and Oates.
Hall and Oates. Man.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I could argue the same thing. I don't know the difference between Hall and Oates if they walked in. One's got a mustache, one doesn't. Who is that? Who's got the mustache?
Daryl Hall.
You sure about that? Because you seemed a little bit apprehensive about it. Oh my guys, I could tell you who they are. You're like, I think Hall's got the mustache.
No, it's just. Okay. I always have to picture.
You could have went Brooks and Dunn, you know, but okay. Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad choice. Hall and Oates, obviously. Not, you know, I'm not an 80s guy. I
know you were. And I was actually thinking about, like, prefacing that before I mentioned it. But, I mean, you know, Maneater. Kisses on my list.
Yes.
Rich Girl. I mean, just.
They got the hits, bro. Like, yeah, I'm not.
They were peddling them out.
I will listen to Hall and Oates many times. Like, even if I don't really love the 80s, yes, their songs, like, they're great. You know, Kiss on My List is on my head all the. It's like, just pops in my head. It's one of those great songs.
Yeah.
All right, man. Coming down to our last choice. We've got some great options here. I think I screwed up by picking the Droids because I've got some sentimental choices, but I've got to go with a standard. I mean, I can go with all this, but when you think of one and the other, I mean, obviously we think of people, but how do you think of peanut butter and jelly? How do you go peanut butter and jelly?
That's okay. I got to back up.
Well, I have a backup for food too, but yes, I'm going peanut butter and jelly as my last official pick on the Mount Rushmore of duos. Peanut butter and jelly. Come on, man. Who do you know that's a psychopath that just eats peanut butter sandwiches?
I mean, I do, but I like peanut butter and jelly too.
You just eat straight peanut butter sandwiches, and you have jelly in your house.
Yeah.
That's weird, man. I don't think.
What I really like is just toasting the bread and just putting peanut butter on just toast.
See, I'll eat jelly on toast all the day long, but I think with a straight sandwich, man, peanut butter, jelly, whoever come up with that. Do you think about when people come up with this stuff like?
Oh, my big thing about food when people come up with stuff.
Yeah.
Is that boggles my mind. Is anything that has to do with eggs. You put eggs in cake.
Yeah. Who
thought of that? Who's like, I need to take this unborn chicken.
Yeah, it's weird.
And mix it with flour and oil.
It's weird. It really doesn't make no sense, truthfully. I mean, I thought that when I was making that chocolate pie at Thanksgiving, I was like, what? You gotta do what with these eggs? What?
Yeah.
It's weird. I've thought about that. I almost went with peanut butter chocolate, but, because, man,
That's a killer combination.
Good,
as well.
but I can eat it. I can eat a bunch of.
But there's a staple and there's something that's just really good.
Right. Yeah.
And
So when you say peanut butter jelly time, I mean there's songs about it. Okay. All right. You come to your last one. You going food on this one?
I'm not, because that was my only like.
Okay.
They're not to knock anybody, but there's a lot of really good choices still out there for food.
We're gonna do best also Rans, but yes.
And peanut butter and jelly was on my list.
Okay.
But the two that I was most worried about lead over was Hall & Oates, just because I knew you'd do somebody musical.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
I didn't think you would go with Beatles because they're generally known as a foursome, so I thought that was safe.
We've talked about this. Are they? I mean,
they're generally
they're
known.
a duo with two guys that were in the band with them. Let's just keep it real. I mean, let's look at it. If Lennon and McCartney leave that band in the first year, that's done. Like that band's, they're a footnote in history at best. You think Harrison and Ringo would? You think they would have put out one single between them if Lennon
that early?
Yes.
No.
Okay, they had been done, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, anyways, all right. Well, you're up to your last choice.
Went to the last one, and I decided, for those of you who know my backstory and how religious I can be, I had to go with the OG of Best Friends.
Oh boy!
A lot of people don't know of this story in the Bible, and oddly enough,
this is a Mount Rushmore.
They share our names, Jonathan and David.
All right, that's a bold choice.
They were willing to lay down their lives for each other. They were just best friends.
Some people say more, but anyway, I've read books. I picked up a book called The Book of David. I mean, he's a very fascinating guy. Even if you don't believe the religious stuff and you just look at him history wise, very fascinating dude. Like all the decisions he made. Yes, Jonathan saved his life. Dad wanted to kill him. Yes, but there are some.
I could see how people would think that there were other things going on.
We weren't there. We don't know. Hey, who knows what happened? Anyway, all right. So Jonathan David. All right. So I'm gonna round it up, and then I'm gonna go over some. I got some also Rams. I'll let you do some. I had Batman and Robin, R2D2, C3PO, Lennon and McCartney, Peanut Butter and Jelly. John had Bonnie and Clyde, Pryor and Wilder, Hall & Oates, Jonathan and David. Now I also had Han and Chewbacca, obviously.
Yeah.
Mario and Luigi, standard. One I think is very important is Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner, because
that's a good take. I was thinking about Looney Tunes, but I couldn't.
They don't exist without each other.
Yeah,
I mean they're.
I mean, like Sylvester and Tweety popped in was like no, because there's some stuff that sometimes Sylvester's with Speedy Gonzalez.
Right.
And so, but yeah, that's
I
a
think
good
they're
call.
very. Yes.
I give you praise on that one.
I mean, you could also look at. I just had another one. I can't think of it now, but I had Bert and Ernie, another one.
Bert and Ernie, yes.
I had Mac and Cheese, good one. I was gonna put Kobe and Shaq on there because I know people like to say Pippen and Jordan, but to me, a duo has to have some level of equal.
I mean,
nature
if I was
behind
gonna go basketball, you know where I'd go.
Stockton Malone, which is a fair one because there's a level of balance to see.
Well, almost. I mean, when you go back in 90s era Utah Jazz, it was almost one word.
Yeah.
Stockton to Malone, Stockton to Malone,
right.
Stockton to Malone. So I mean.
But Kobe and Shaq are two of my favorite players of all time, and I remember just the thrill of watching them play together. They were just they stayed together a couple more years. Who knows? I had Cheech and Chong comedy wise because everybody says Cheech and Chong.
Yeah.
Of course, Scooby Shaggy's another one where. I mean, you don't think of Scooby-Doo without Shaggy. You definitely don't think of Shaggy without Scooby-Doo. And also had a racism in the South. So, why not? That's a good duo. I told my son.
I had some stuff I was going to say, but that just kind
of... I told my son that, and he goes, Dad, if you say that on the podcast, you're going to lose listeners. I go, son, if they weren't run off by the last 6 months, they're not running away from that.
Yeah, they're not.
So, yeah, that was a few I had. So, I think it's a good list. I think there's always going to be great duos. It's easy to tell stories like that. I saw some other ones.
The Righteous Brothers is up there for me.
I mean, the music. there's a lot of great music.
Of music ones.
With narrator and Tyler Durden from Fight Club was one I read, and I was like, they pretty much don't exist without each other. I'm not. If you've never seen Fight Club, go watch it. But it's
spoiler alert.
But they're very dependent on each other. Let's just say that. But
and you get the Odd Couple. There's a lot of ones. I mean,
yeah, it's a lot. So a lot of people did send us their list. So in the chat, someone said Lois and Clark. Our friend Trapper said Lewis and Clark, the explorers, because he loves to explore.
yeah.
We had Ash and Pikachu from the chat, Naruto and Sasuke. I don't even know who that is. Robin says milk and cookies. Jeffrey says cereal and milk, which is that's a pretty good one. That's a pretty good one. And then I know our buddy who had a birthday this week, Mr.
Kent Peterson.
Yeah, he gave us one that
he gave us a few. He gave us he said Jordan and Pippen.
Oh, I'm going to read his list. He himself, he put himself on there, of course. So did many other podcasts. Were like, oh, us do. I was like, okay. I mean, yeah, you guys kind of wore that joke out. But he made it first. So let's see. Let me see if I can pull up his list real quick. Let's see here. Okay, he had, like you said, Pippen and Jordan. And I keep messing up Twitter because I'm old and I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, he also had murder mystery parties and something. I was like, because on his podcast, Next Up on Next Door,
we talked about it too.
Yeah, he was going to go to one. I was like, bro, that sounds like the worst thing of all time. Like if you ask me, I don't know what. I mean, I'm sure you mentioned before murder mystery party. Your thoughts?
It's awkward if you're not into it. I mean, it's.
Are you?
It's if you're gonna. Put it this way: if you're the type of person that would work at a haunted house for free, you'd like that place. You'd like it. You'd enjoy something like that. Otherwise, no, you're not. You're gonna hate it.
All right. So here's a few other.
It's just gonna be awkward for you.
Yes. So Marlon said Abbott Costello. Glenda Sawyer said Tonto and the Lone Ranger, and also Starsky and Hutch.
Ooh, that was a good one.
And Carbons and Fire said them. Baco and LC. Like I say, any podcast with a duo, they hit us up, pretty much said themselves. Oh, come on, guys. Write some original material. Anyway, all right. Well, what else is going on this week? I know we do actually have a Dear John this week, which we will get to in just a little bit. But let's talk about real quick. HBO Max has made the decision to release
Wonder Woman
movies, man. Like they're going to be releasing movies the day they come out on the HBO Max app. Now, maybe I have this because somebody's giving me their credentials. I'm not saying that's true or not. But is this a game changer for movies, do you think? I mean...
I think this is a temporary thing that HBO is doing.
Really?
I don't think they're going to keep up with this if the world goes back to where you can go out and...
Well... I mean, the vaccines are coming, man. It's got approved today to officially release. Once the vaccines start, we're on the road to recovery, right? So you think once that happens, HBO Max, you don't think people...
I think there's a lot of people that are going to come up with really good excuses not to take the vaccine. So I don't think it's going to be... I don't think it's going to be
that's probably half the country. But like if we get the vaccine, we can probably go back to kind of normalcy.
Yeah, but are they... I mean...
Can you catch it once you have the vaccine? I mean, there's tons of questions I don't have because I'm not a scientist. I mean, I don't know, but do you think you can still catch it even if you get the vaccine?
No, I think you can't. But I mean,
that's good. Well,
the thing is like, I mean, if it works like a vaccine is supposed to work, then you can't. But I mean,
well, you can still catch the flu, can't you?
There's different strands of the flu. They can't come out with
that's true.
a blanket flu vaccine.
You don't think there's going to be different strands of the corona? I mean,
technically, it is a strand.
Yeah, I guess so. It's a specific strain, though, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, you think it's just temporary rollout?
I think there's going to be enough people that won't take it that will prevent the world from going back to normal.
How long? You're saying like indefinitely?
No, I mean eventually it's got to curb at some point. Either everybody's going to have it, or enough people's going to have the vaccine that it'll balance it out.
So a couple years. I don't know. I don't want.
I don't want it to be that way.
Oh, I don't want another year of this. I don't like it. I mean, I like being selective on who I see. Now, are you asking me if you could work at home for the rest of your life? Would you? Yes, 100%. I would. I know that's not a reality, but I do like that part of it. Do I miss talking to some of the people I used to work with? Yes. It's very few select people, though. So the many outweigh the few, which kind of sucks. But I miss having parties. I miss going out occasionally downtown, doing karaoke, having crazy stories, having these great adventures. Done. I'm not doing any of that stuff. You know, like I've gone to, I think, 2 restaurants, maybe 3 since all this has happened.
Yeah.
I mean, it is, I know people, it is fun to eat at a restaurant. I mean, people act like it's some religious awakening, though. I'm like, all right, just let's slow the roll a little bit, guys.
I mean, for the most part, it's who you're at the restaurant with.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, but some people online have made it like, oh, this is our right as Americans. No, I don't think that's, I don't know what you're reading, but I don't think that's a right. Anyway, so yeah, so Wonder Woman, are you excited about this film?
I am. For the most part, I really liked the first one.
Yeah, I thought it was really good.
I mean, as far as DC movies, it's the best DC movie that came out after the Dark Knight trilogy.
Oh yeah, of course.
So,
I mean, what else? Okay, Man of Steel had promise. Okay,
it
had promise.
The thing with Man of Steel is it didn't seem like it seemed more like an alien movie than it did a comic book movie.
Yeah, I mean it's unfortunate.
And the charm of Superman is the difference between him and Clark Kent.
Right.
And there was no Clark Kent character.
Yeah, that is the knock. But okay, so we had Man of Steel. Then we had Aquaman. I mean,
it
it
wasn't utterly horrible.
No, it's not the worst thing I've ever seen, but it's a paint by numbers movie. Like, yeah. I mean, we could have directed that movie. Seriously, I mean,
yeah.
Then we also had Batman v Superman, mess of a movie.
Yeah.
I mean, mess of a movie. It could have been good. The director's cut is better than the actual theatrical version. I'm not saying like it's great, but it is much better than what we saw. And I went and saw the movie at theaters, and I walked out. You know, you've seen movies, and you're like, yeah, man, that was cool. Yeah, it was cool. You're like, you know, you don't want to admit, like, this was, especially in our young years, like, when I went and saw Star Wars Phantom Menace, Kenny was, you didn't go with me to that, right? It was
I don't
Kenny.
think so.
Yeah, me and Kenny and my girlfriend at the time, I walked out and went, yeah, that was cool. And he's like, dude, that was terrible. Like, and I know you don't want to admit it, you know, at the moment, because you're really excited about it. And now as you get a little bit older, you're just like, no, that was lame, dude. Then we had Justice League, which was, I mean, you know.
That was kind of a dumpster fire, too, with all the
Have you heard what's coming out this year, next year? The Snyder Cut. And they're saying it's a different movie. Now, I don't think Snyder's that great of a director. Okay? Yeah. But it's Justice League is just forgettable. Like, what do you remember about it?
His lip. Superman's lip. That's the only cool thing I remember about that movie was when Flash was running and he looks over and he sees Superman watching him, letting him know that Superman can at least register how fast he can go.
Right.
And that worried him. And that brief exchange was, to me, the only cool thing about that movie.
I don't even remember that. I remember nothing about it. Truthfully, I remember there was some bad guy. Anyway, okay. So yes, Wonder Woman was obviously, I thought it was a great movie. And I'll weigh my words. I said it was going to be a disaster. I said it was going to be the worst movie. It turns out I was wrong. It was the best DC movie. It's the best one. And I'm not counting the Nolans. I'm saying of the modern Suicide Squad, Harley Quinn, these were the...
I mean, oh, you mean the Birds of Prey movie. Yeah, that was garbage.
I stopped watching. I don't even know what happened at the end, and I don't really care. That was one of the worst things I've ever seen.
I was watching it at home. I was watching on the HBO app.
Yeah.
And about halfway into the movie, I was like, I just let it play. I started playing on my phone.
That's what I did. So yeah, I kept just playing. I was just like, I'm going to go do chores. I'd rather do chores than watch this movie. There's nothing about it. At least, even if you don't like Batman v Superman, at least Superman dies at the end. So you're like, all right, well, I mean, I wouldn't have bet on that at the beginning of the movie. Like, if you ask me, are they going to kill a major character off? I would have said probably no. So at least there was some surprise about that. That and Aquaman, they're just forgettable. I mean, they're just not. And I'm not saying Wonder Woman was some great, screenplay of the year, but I think Gal Gadot has enough star power. I mean, she is a movie star. Like, she's on screen, like, that may be the most beautiful woman on the planet.
She's definitely breathtaking.
It's like, it's crazy. Like, you're like, this woman could be an Amazonian goddess. Like, we need to check and see where she's from. So, So yeah, I'm definitely interested for that. The Zack Snyder cut. I don't know. There's other movies, but the Wonder Woman was going to be the huge one. And Christopher Nolan has come out and he is pissed about this. He said this is a travesty, pretty much. They shouldn't be doing this because he released Tenet and it didn't make a lot of money. Now I love Christopher Nolan, one of my 5 favorite directors. But I'm like, dude, I'm not going to go see Tenet. Actually, I was going to go see it at the theater one time, like 3 weeks in, but it was only showing like at 6 at night. I'm like, no, I was going to go see it during the day. I was working from home. I just take the day off. Even then, I was still like, do I really want to go see it though? I don't know. And what a shame. But anyway, so yeah, there we go, HBO Max. All right, well, no sounder today. We'll get some, I'll work on getting all the sounders, but we do have a Dear John. And it came in the email, and I know in the past, some people have said, hey man, are these Dear Johns legit? This one is 100% legit. Here we go. This is Dear John. If you don't know what Dear John is, someone has emailed us a question. They need life advice. I'm going to read it, and John's going to give them his advice. Dear John, there is a new girl in my neighborhood, and me and her are both in high school. And I have, you should be reading this. This is fantastic. I have feelings, spelled Fillings. Maybe they did voice to text. I have feelings for her, and I don't know what to tell her during our hangout. The stupid no-brainer jock said if I tell her that I guess I like her, they will jump me and toss me like a football. And what should I do? I really translated this. Should I tell her my feelings and be treated like a football at the zoo? Or should I give up the feelings I have to keep my mom from not wondering about her kiddo's safety? And it's from Sincere Kid from the Future. So I'll recap it since I had to translate it. Basically, he's got a girl he likes at school. He wants to tell her he likes her, but he's been told by the quote-unquote stupid no-brainer jocks that they're going to toss him like a football if he tells her the feelings for this girl. Should he go for it? Or should he keep his mother with a son for the rest of her life? Because apparently he thinks they're going to kill him. So there you go. What do you think?
How many jocks are we talking here? Just one or two. Like, yeah, man, go for it. You got to shoot your shot. But I mean, if it's the whole football team, you might want to keep that stuff on the down low.
What world is this kid living in where? Why is the football team?
The only scenario I can think of is this: like she used to date one of those football players, and they've kind of like they got their boys back, and they don't want anybody else hitting on this girl.
Now, John, you did something I never did in high school. I never told any crush that I had a crush on them ever. Never would have fathomed it in a million years. It was never going to happen in high school. You actually went through with it. You asked.
For the record, these never work out. Okay, you never.
That's why I'm kind of go ahead. Though.
Never do this in real life. Okay, I've been there.
Now, who is this girl?
I've been to the top of the mountain.
No, you ain't been to the top.
Yeah, but I got knocked off. There was a storm. There's an avalanche. It knocked me down.
This girl you were going to ask out was one of the most popular girls of your class.
Mm-hmm.
Breathtakingly beautiful, blonde.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Name was Katie?
Yes.
Okay. Just make sure I got it right. And how did you do this?
I just did it in the hallway. I asked her.
Oh.
We just walked up to her, and I said, I knew where her locker was. I walked up to her, and I said, hey, what are you doing this Friday night? And she said...
What was the look on her face, though?
Nothing. It was just like, she was like, oh, well, I'm doing that. She actually had plans. She told me what her plans were. And I'm like, okay. Well, a reason why I'm asking is, like, I would like to get together with you sometime. I'd like to go out with you sometime.
Okay.
And she said, oh, well, I mean, that's really sweet, but I have a boyfriend. And, I mean, that's not surprising. I didn't know it, but she could have been lying. But she's beautiful enough to, that's not a huge surprise.
Let's walk this back a little bit. What, in your mind, now I want to tell, we got a few minutes. I want to tell another story about high school. What did you think was going to happen, though? Seriously, like deep down, you were like, this ain't going to work?
I thought I was going to crash and burn, but it was one of those things where I felt like I had to shoot my shot.
Well, I give you props for that. I mean, I know now, me and Kenny, we did some things after that. We're not going to talk about that. Look, okay. But here's what John did to me. Okay, so whatever me and Kenny did to John. Now we talk about Kenny, but John, we rode the bus together. This is how cool.
But you got to keep in mind though, my intentions were nothing but pure.
Even the best laid intentions sometimes are bad. Okay, look. So there was this girl on. Me and John rode the bus our entire high school life. Okay, that's how cool we were. If you're keeping score right there, that's how cool we were.
Nothing screams James D than hopping off of a big yellow contraption
As a senior in high school.
Yeah.
Okay, there was a girl on the bus, super cute girl. Now, I don't know why you got it in your head that you were going to write a letter as you to the girl for me. Am I getting this right? Because it's been a while.
Pretty much.
Okay, why did you do this? Looking back, why did you think this girl would be interested? Was there any?
I don't know.
And I thought someone said, "Oh, she said you were cute" or something. I remember something like that. That may have been a Kennyism. Okay, so you wrote this note.
Anyway, she got on the bus, and I saw her. She happened to be in my chorus class. I was in choir in high school when she was in that class, and she was getting on the bus, and I saw the look you had when she got on the bus.
Which I probably had for many girls, but yes, continue.
But this was, it was like
she was cute. Yes,
it was the look you had, and I was like, I knew.
And she lived 5 minutes from where I lived at most, maybe 3.
Yeah, and so
you wrote this. I
was like, she's in my choir class. I got you, bro.
Oh wow.
And you should have said, hey, no.
No. I didn't know about this letter. No, I did not know about the letter until after it was delivered, and I'll tell you why I know this.
I know, but
what did the letter say?
Oh, I don't remember. I don't remember.
Just a quick recap. Like, this is my boy, go out with him kind of thing.
Sure.
Okay. Me and Kenny were in the hall walking to Algebra 2, my Algebra 2 class. She comes storming down the hall, tears in her eyes. Now, I don't know if it was related to the letter. I don't know if something bad was happening in her house. She looked at me and shot me a look like, get out of my face now, or something. I went, man, that's some weird stuff right there. And then somehow I learned later that day that you wrote the letter. So, well, John will shoot the shot for you and himself.
What time of the day?
This was the morning.
See, I didn't give her the letter till after that.
I think, I don't know. Maybe
it was third period.
Maybe it was third period. I don't think I had Algebra 2.
But Algebra 2 was always in the morning.
I don't know.
For Miss Berry.
Who knows? This was a long time ago. But anyway, so your final advice to this kid that wrote in? Don't do it.
Don't just be like, don't do like in the movies where like, I love you, blah, blah. That doesn't work. It's in the movies and just in the movies for a reason. If you want to say, hey, let's go do something, let's go on a date, or don't just be like, I think I love you. Ugh. No.
All right. So keep it real.
Keep it real, but don't shoot your shot, but don't blow your load.
Oh, wow. There we go. That's a Johnism. There we go. That's Dear John. All right. Well, we've come up to the end of the show. John got robbed this week. We listed our best duos. HBO Max is releasing some good movies, and John says, what he just said, shoot your shot, but I don't know what you just said. I don't even want to repeat what you just said. But anyway, yes, so we've come to the show. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Like I said, we'll get this streaming back up. Thank you for everyone that's hung out tonight. Good chat as always. Thursday nights, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, BlameYourBrother.tv. We will just be doing it on YouTube for now. So if you've been watching on Facebook or some other means, just come on over here. You just go to YouTube, just subscribe, hit that bell, and you'll be notified when it comes out. I do want to tell people, go to the website, bybpod.com, and I also want to tell people it's a holiday season. Christmas is 15 days away, and you're going to be doing a lot of Christmas shopping online. If you haven't already started, this is crunch time. This is like, yo, man. And you need to go to our website, bybpod.com, and use our Amazon link, because
it'll help the show. Yeah.
Well, if you click on that Amazon link and buy stuff, we get a small kickback of the sales. And someone, I don't know if it's John or somebody, made a bunch of purchases this week, so we got a nice little kickback. Yeah,
I dropped almost $400 the other day.
Okay, well, that just explains it. So John, I can't do it, but John can because I'm signed up for it. So it helps, but you need to do it because what it essentially does is pays for all the cost of hosting the podcast for a year. It doesn't pay for all of it, but every little bit helps. It helps. I mean, green screen here, we got cameras, we got stuff, and that helps us out. So, if you're going to shop on Amazon, go to bybpod.com. There's a link on there. Click on it, do it, and that will be it. There's also articles on there, all our past shows. You can get all that there. And if you want to write John, there's even a link on there. There's a little box on the side. Send us an email. John will give you advice and all of that. So I guess with all that being said, John, is there anything else?
Don't blame yourself when you blame your brother.
Peace out, people.